So here's a great question that I had, and it's, should my teenager have a debit card? Should they be in charge of having something that is tied to a checking account? Does it make sense? And so, loyal viewers know that I like to do a pros and cons list for a lot of things. And so the pros of a teenager having a credit card, debit card, which by the way, this is a debit card, for those of you who don't know, a debit card that is tied to an account that has money in it. We're not talking about a credit card, which I believe those you have to be 18. So the pros are that it's easy to curb spending, right? They'll be more responsible with the spending. They'll be more focused on it versus having cash and just dishing out the cash towards things that they want to buy. Another one is easy to cancel if it's lost or stolen. Simple phone call, which you should have that number that's on the card or to the bank's number on your phone saved, okay? It's safer than cash. You lose cash, it's gone. You lose a debit card, you can get a new debit card back, and if there's fraud, many times the bank, if you can prove that it's fraud, or just simply stating that it's fraud, they will reimburse you within a week, I've seen. So it teaches independence as well. So it teaches them to be independent, makes them feel a little bit older, right? Like, okay, I can do this. And as they're actually managing their expenses, and they should be actually tracking a checkbook as well. Another one is typically banks have less fees associated with a teenage checking account if they overdraft or whatever other fee that they might have. They tend to be less compared to an adult having a checking account and debit card. And then the last one is it teaches responsibility in spending. I kind of touched on that earlier in the pros list, but basically teaches them to be responsible and knowing, okay, if I have, for example, $500 in my teenage checking account, I probably shouldn't spend all $500. I should probably spend a little bit, right, on what I want to have or what I need, and then go from there, kind of balance it and manage that spending and be responsible about it. So with every pro, there is a con, and I will say though, there's not many cons when it comes to giving a teenager a debit card. I put together 3 for you. The first one is the fees can add up if they're overdrafting often. It can add up, especially if they spend that whole amount that's in their account and then they overdraft. Maybe they have a teenage job, right, where they're working a little bit. They might not be able to cover that, which means the parent would have to cover that expense, and that can add up. So another one is it's easy to overspend. Just swipe. Usually it makes it easier to manage the spending. However, it's easy also to be irresponsible and just swipe. Oh, no big deal, it's just a card, and you're not actually seeing the cash leave your pocket or your wallet, okay, or purse. And then the last one is it's one more thing that parents have to manage. You have to manage another account, another debit card, another behavioral spending effort from the teenager. You gotta make sure that they're not overspending and not going nuts. So there's the pros and cons of whether or not a teenager should have a debit card. My thought on it is yes, they should be learning this. Matter of fact, they should also have a credit card in their name as an authorized user on yours, so that when they turn 18, they get credit. They get some form of credit that shows up, that builds up, that will help them in the future, okay? So anyway, what are your thoughts? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next episode.